Have you ever been told to just stay positive when you felt sad, angry, or stressed? What if pretending to be happy all the time is actually making you feel worse? Toxic positivity is like a fake smile that hides your real feelings. It's when people, or even you, try to force happiness instead of letting you feel what you need to feel. It sounds nice, like good vibes only, but it's a trap. Why? Because ignoring your pain doesn't make it disappear. Let's talk about how to spot toxic positivity and why it's okay to not be okay. What does toxic positivity look like? As an example, your pet dies and someone says, "At least you can get a new one," instead of letting you cry. Why saying this hurts? It makes you feel guilty for grieving. As an example, you fail a test, but you post, "Everything happens for a reason," online while crying inside. Why it hurts? You're lying to yourself. As an example, your friend says, "I'm stressed about money," and you reply, "Just be grateful for what you have." Why it hurts? It dismisses their feelings and yours. Pretending to be happy 24/7 is like putting duct tape on a broken leg. It might hide the problem, but it won't fix it. True peace starts when you let yourself feel all your emotions, even the messy ones. Have you ever been told to just stay positive when you needed to scream or cry? Drop a heart in the comments if this has happened to you. Let's break the silence together. I've always prided myself on being a positive person. Growing up, my mom would tell me to look on the bright side, and that's what I trained myself to do. When life threw curveballs, divorce, and loss, it was an affirmation I repeated: stay positive, it could be worse. But as I sat on my couch one Sunday afternoon, scrolling through posts on social media that said those same affirmation, I realized something profound. I wasn't just unlucky, I was trapped by an invisible web of toxic positivity that urged me to ignore genuine feelings in favor of a forced smile. It's a troubling form of escapism we've all fallen prey to at times. The idea that if we just breathe deeply, think happy thoughts, and plaster on a grin, we can transform our lives without having to confront our authentic selves. But the truth is that this kind of thinking can often leave us feeling even more isolated when the world demands authenticity, vulnerability, and honesty. If you're my age or older, you might have noticed it too. It creeps into our daily conversations, our social networks, and even our workplaces. It's the idea that happiness is a choice, and if you're not happy somehow, you're not trying hard enough. So, on that day, with a heart heavy from a truth I could no longer ignore, I made the conscious decision to escape this false narrative, not only for myself, but for others who might be feeling just as suffocated by the phantoms of forced happiness. Here is what I learned, and the 3 ways I found to break free and ultimately discover true peace. The first step toward authenticity was scary for me. I had spent decades dismissing my true emotions as negativity. I can still hear my mother's voice in the back of my head. "Don't dwell on the bad stuff, just think happy thoughts." But that Sunday, courage overtook fear, and I decided to sit with myself and acknowledge my feelings. As I examined my life closely, I identified what had caused my grief: unresolved conflicts, unwelcome changes, and a series of regrets that shadowed many decisions. I put my phone down, took a deep breath, and gave myself permission to feel. It was profound, liberating, and excruciating all at once. I cried for the job that drained my spirit, and for the years I spent pretending that everything was fine. Instead of resisting sadness, I leaned into it, letting it wash over me like a cleansing tide. It was cleansing. This is an important step for anyone feeling trapped by toxic positivity. The experience of feeling your emotions fully can be uncomfortable, but it's also an important part of healing. You don't have to be happy all the time to be worthy. In fact, acknowledging sadness makes the moments of joy that much brighter. This is a crucial step for anyone feeling trapped by toxic positivity. The experience of feeling your emotions fully can be uncomfortable, but it's also a vital part of healing. You don't have to be happy all the time to be worthy. In fact, acknowledging sadness makes the moments of joy that much brighter. Once I became comfortable with my authentic feelings, I recognized a significant shift in how I viewed the world and spoke with others. The empowerment that follows emotional acceptance paved the way for a brighter outlook. During this phase, I began to notice how conversations evolved when I allowed authenticity to surface. Instead of responding with, "I'm good," when someone asked how I was doing, even when I was struggling, I dared to say, "It's been a rough week, but I'm getting through it." Surprisingly, this honest admission allowed a deeper connection with those around me. Friends began to be more honest, and they opened up about their struggles too. My conversations shifted from lighthearted talk to meaningful conversations about real life, loss, fear, ambition, and doubt. This practice of how I communicated not only built stronger relationships, but it also brought clarity. I began to understand the importance of vulnerability, not just in myself, but in others as well. I came to appreciate that being real provided a sense of community that toxic positivity could never deliver. We began to share the weight of our burdens, recognizing that it was okay to feel overwhelmed, frustrated, or scared. Such conversations became soothing to my soul and spirit. Don't be afraid to express your authentic feelings. Join supportive group where vulnerability is celebrated, not tolerated. Speak your truth, and you'll find that the people who matter respect you all the more for it. The final step on my journey involved a gentle soul-searching exercise. I had ignored the importance of mindfulness, convinced that focusing on the positive alone was enough. I spent so long avoiding my own thoughts that I forgot to listen. As I began practicing mindfulness, I realized that acceptance was the key to finding true peace. Every morning, I'd carve out a few moments of stillness. I didn't force myself to meditate. Big steps can be overwhelming. Instead, I focused simply on being present. I would sit quietly, sip my coffee, and allow my thoughts to flow. The goal wasn't to achieve a happy calm, but rather to accept whatever came into my mind without judgment. In the presence of this quiet, I discovered gratitude alongside the discomfort, the contradictions that made my life uniquely mine. I learned to embrace the chaos, to accept challenges as part of my journey, and to trust that I could handle whatever life threw my way. Mindfulness also gifted me with the ability to love myself, flaws and all. When challenging memories from the past resurfaced, I looked at them differently. They weren't just moments of regret, but stepping stones that brought me to the present. I learned to view crises as opportunities for growth. When fears of the future set in, I met them with acceptance, reminding myself that uncertainty is part of the fabric of life. Practicing mindfulness and acceptance became my guiding lights to stomping out the grasp of toxic positivity. To my surprise, this journey toward honesty and self-acceptance led me to a realization that allowed myself to feel pain. I found deeper joy. As I reflect on where I began, paralyzed by toxic positivity, I see how much my outlook has shifted. I have turned sorrow into strength, vulnerability into an additional layer of strength, and acceptance into peace. These three practices, acknowledging authentic feelings, changing my language, and embracing mindfulness, are not just lessons. They are keys that unlock the door I was trapped behind. So, if you find yourself caught in the suffocation of forced happiness, remember this: it's okay not to be okay. Allow yourself to feel deeply, speak truthfully, and practice mindfulness. By breaking free from the chains of toxic positivity, you will find not just peace, but a genuine connection to yourself and to others. A connection that is sincere and fulfilling in ways that blind optimism can never provide. Embrace the beautiful mess that is life, and in doing so, allow yourself to truly thrive.